Hola, soy Ana at Butterfly Spanish, and today in your Spanish class you're going to learn many adjectives, many words that describe things, and many words to improve your vocabulary, to learn more words, to practice your comprehension, your understanding, and to see real life Spanish. So today I wrote something that was part of a conversation I had with somebody who was recommending a hiking trail for me, ¿sí? Entonces decidí tomar unas oraciones and place them here so you can learn adjectives to continue with our series of the most common adjectives used in Spanish. And so you have Spanish in context and practice your comprehension. Muy bien. So let's start and say, the text says, es un camino largo. The person was giving me instructions. Me estaba dando instrucciones, recomendaciones, sugerencias, suggestions, recommendations, recomendaciones, sugerencias. And so Juan told me, que es Juan, ¿sí? en San Pedro, dijo, es un camino largo. It's a long path. It's a long way. Camino, el camino, the path, the way. Sometimes it's used kind of metaphorically to say, I hope you take the good path, que te vayas por buen camino, right? Un buen camino also could be like a path that is not so bumpy or there's no potholes. Like for example, like in Cuernavaca, in Morelos, there are many potholes, right? In fact, it used to be called La Ciudad de la Eterna Primavera. It used to be called the City of the Eternal Spring. And they changed it for La Ciudad de la Eterna Brincadera, like the eternal jumping city, because there are so many potholes. So, good path could be buen camino, ¿sí? O un camino muy malo, bad path. Largo, it's a long path. I have an itch here, okay. Largo, it's a long path. Es un camino largo. It's a long path. Juan said, dijo Juan, es un camino largo. Las vistas son increíbles. Because he told me, es un camino largo, it's a long path. He had to he thought it was a negative thing, and so he tried to make it better, saying, well, but the views are incredible. Las vistas son increíbles. Incredible. Increíbles. Increíbles because las vistas we're using as the views, plural. Las vistas son increíbles. If we were talking about the view, la vista es increíble. Ay, la vista es increíble. Qué hermoso, maravilloso, espectacular. La vista es espectacular, ¿sí? Escénica, scenic. In this case, las vistas, the views, son increíbles. Incredible, increíbles. Con su acento, ¿no? Increíble o increíbles, dependiendo. La vista o las vistas. Luego me dice, hay partes estrechas. Hay partes estrechas. There are parts. There are parts. What sort of parts? Narrow parts. Estrecha. Angosto también it's used. Estrecho. Un camino estrecho. Or here partes. There are parts that are narrow. Hay partes estrechas, right? There are parts that are narrow. And he wasn't kidding. There were parts that I had to go like in my profile mode to get through it. Hay partes estrechas. Pero son cortas. But they are short. See, there are parts that are narrow, but they are short. So he told me so I wouldn't worry, if I there's some people who have that, like they cannot be in like very narrow parts and closed. They get sick, but I don't. Porque en Tepoztlán, because in Tepoztlán I crossed, I remember there's a path that I used to cross. It's very narrow and I like to cross that part a lot. Hay partes estrechas, pero son cortas, he told me. There are narrow parts, but they are short. Don't worry. So we have corta, cortas. Largo, long, short, corto. So largo, and the opposite would be corto. Corto. Now we're going to see later that we can also use other words to say corto, like short, Muy bien. In this case, because we're talking about a distance, we say, son estrechas, they are narrow, but they are short. So don't worry, no te preocupes. Corto. Aquí, partes cortas. That's why we're using cortas. Partes cortas. Hay partes estrechas, pero no importa porque son muy cortas. Then he told me, el río, the river, el río that you are going to cross, el río que vas a cruzar, the river that you're going to cross, el río que vas a cruzar, es poco profundo. Poco profundo. Shallow. Shallow water, ¿sí? Las aguas poco profundas. Now, what is the opposite of poco profundo? It's a funny one. Profundo, just without the poco. Poco profundo, ¿sí? Juan could have said, el río que vas a cruzar es profundo. So you need to swim. Necesitas nadar. ¿Sabes nadar? Do you know to swim? Do you know how to swim? ¿Sabes nadar? Yo sí sé nadar. Pero en este caso, in this case, the river is shallow. It's not deep. Profundo, deep, shallow, poco profundo. We're going to learn another word later for this. ¿Ok? Seguimos. El río que vas a cruzar. To cross, cruzar. Here saying, you're going to cross. Que vas a cruzar. The river that you're going to cross. El río que vas a cruzar es poco profundo. No te preocupes. No es peligroso. It's not dangerous. If you want to see the waterfall, si quieres ver la cascada, me dijo Juan, if you want to see, si quieres ver, if you want to see the waterfall, la cascada, tienes que cruzar una carretera ancha y peligrosa. So he told me, if you want to see the waterfall, you need to cross a road, carretera, a road. And how is the road? How is he describing it? What is the adjective Juan is using? Ancha, wide, ancha. Carretera ancha. ¿Sí? Carretera, la carretera. It's a feminine noun. So you say la carretera, and the adjective, the quality would be ancha. So they have to embrace, you know, like the ending. So it's like carretera, feminine, noun. Adjective, it's gotta be feminine. So it would be carretera ancha. How about camino, for example? El camino. If Juan had told me el camino es ancho, because el camino is a masculine noun. So it's el camino ancho with O. Muy bien. If you want to learn about adjectives and nouns in Spanish, you may want to watch my lesson about that topic. So, continue. He told me, tienes que cruzar. If you want to see the waterfall, you have to cross a road that is wide and dangerous. Uy, qué miedo, qué miedo. Una carretera ancha y peligrosa. So, it was actually a wide road, but I mean, it wasn't so dangerous because I lived in Mexico City for many years, so, you know, like I got my way around the traffic. And it wasn't traffic, really. It's more that there are curves in between, so you don't really see what's coming. But I crossed it really fast. La crucé muy rápido. ¿Sí? Como un jaguar. Nadie me vio. They didn't even see my dust. No me vieron ni el polvo, as we say in Spanish. No le vi ni el polvo. I didn't even see his or her dust. No le vi ni el polvo. I didn't even see his or her dust. That means I didn't see it happening. I didn't see him or her living. ¿Sí? Dust, polvo. Ancha y peligrosa. Oye, so he keeps giving me instructions and he says, para meterte, to enter, para meterte, where? A la cueva. Para meterte a la cueva, to enter the cave, to go in the cave, para meterte, to go in, or to enter the cave, la cueva, necesitas una lámpara, o linterna, también decimos linterna. Linterna usually when it's bigger, like more like it has like a bigger spectrum of light. See? Linterna. Uy. Linterna. Linterna. Uy, like. Bueno, entiendes. Linterna. Para meterte a la cueva, necesitas una lámpara. You need a lamp, ¿no? Or a lantern o linterna. Because at certain times, a ciertas horas, at certain times of the day, a ciertas horas del día, a ciertas horas, because at certain times, at ciertas horas, está muy oscura. La cueva is dark, oscura. Dark, oscura. La cueva. La cueva, at certain times, is dark, but at other times, there is light. What is the opposite of oscura? Clara. 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 Puedes decir, está clara. Sí. O hay mucha luz. You can say, there's a lot of light. Hay mucha luz. Clara, you would say, Clara is also like a first name, right? Clara va a la cueva. Clara goes to the cave. But in this case, the opposite of oscura, the opposite of dark, is clara. Oscura, clara. Oscuro would be, for example, camino oscuro, o hoyo, hole, oscuro, hoyo, hole, claro. ¿Sí? Claro, se ve, it's light, right? Se ve because of the sun, right? So it says claro, oscuro. There is a magazine called Claro Oscuro. Bueno, entonces, podemos ver. So, largo, long, corto, short, ¿no? Largo, un camino largo o un camino corto. When you see something incredible, you say increíble. The view, la vista es increíble. Hay partes increíbles. There are incredible parts, very beautiful. La cascada, the waterfall, la cascada. To cross, cruzar. Carretera, a road, carretera. Ancha, wide, and peligrosa, dangerous. You could say, for example, oscura, clara. So you see here all the adjectives, you see, they embrace whether the noun is a feminine noun or a masculine noun, right? So many of our nouns, for example, la blusa, el pizarrón, is la o el, right? O un o una. And depending on that, you're going to see the ending of the adjective, of the quality of that thing. Now, also, for example, if you're talking about plurals, si estamos hablando de plurales, caminos largos, right? Because it's going to be, let's say, embrace the gender and the number. So it will be caminos largos. O cuevas, if it was plural, si fuera plural, si fuera plural, diría cuevas oscuras, con S, ¿ok? Caminos largos, cuevas oscuras. Partes, este es plural, partes estrechas, ¿sí? Parte, si fuera singular, parte estrecha, ¿sí? O es un camino, podríamos decir, es un camino estrecho, it's a narrow path, camino estrecho con O. So, you know now that they have to embrace the gender and the noun. And not only that, you have learned that the opposites and some important adjectives that we use in Spanish, like largo, corto, increíble, profundo, deep, profundo, poco profundo, shallow. We also say for shallow, bajito. So often, por ejemplo, if you are going to a river, ¿no? En Guatemala fui a Semuc Champey. Hay partes de Semuc Champey muy profundas y hay partes poco profundas, ¿sí? Hay partes bajitas. So I'm going to write it here. Let's put it here. Aquí hay partes bajitas. I remember bajitas, shallow. I remember also you could say, some people would say, Oh, it's shallow. You can touch the ground. Puedes tocar el piso. ¿Sí? To say it's bajito, it's shallow. Puedes tocar el piso. You can touch the ground. Puedes tocar el piso. Puedes, do you want me to write it? I'm gonna get my eraser that I always forget it because I always think, oh no, I shouldn't say more because then I end up talking too much. And then I always say like, oh yeah, but it's okay if I talk too much because I'm explaining something important to my students. Entonces, es muy importante que no se me olvide mi borrador. Puedes tocar el piso. Iba a decir, puedes. So, for example, puedes tocar el piso. Tocar el piso. To say it's shallow, right? It's so shallow you can touch the ground. Maybe you're like up till here, but you can still touching the ground. I'm pretty short, so it's important to me. Like, oh, está profundo, especially in a river. In Chiapas, oh, the river almost took me. Those rivers, like in that Mayan area, are like you need to take them by the horns. Muy bien. Agarrar de los cuernos is like you need to know what you're doing to control what you're doing swimming. Anyway, whatever. Puedes tocar el piso is you can touch the ground. O bajito. Bajito is like short. Bajito. You can also say, for example, bajito o bajita, depending, right? Bajita. La piscina o la alberca de swimming pool está bajita. Bajito o bajita. O el río está bajito. So, for example, when I was a little child, back in the day, cuando era niña, have you watched my lesson about cuando era, when I was? Watch that lesson. It's important. It's a very good grammar structure. Cuando era niña, we used to go to my mother's hometown, el pueblo de mi mamá, el pueblo natal de mi mamá. Y me acuerdo del río. I remember the river. But in the season where we went, el río estaba bajito, was shallow. So they let me swim because it wasn't, so dangerous. When it's rainy season, the river was like a very, back in the day. Now I think it's just like a chorrito de agua. Chorrito is just like a little bit of water. Anyway, so we say, puedes tocar el piso o bajito o bajita. Also, bajito o bajita, those adjectives is used sometimes when you don't want to say chaparro, like short of stature, chaparro or chaparra, no? I'm considered chaparra because I'm short, right? But sometimes people say, ay, bajita, to not make it so so true, let's say. They say bajita, o está bajito, pero they mean chaparro. Or to make it a bit nicer is chaparrito or chaparrita. That makes it a bit better given the circumstances. So they say, ay, está chaparrita. Mi tía le dice a mi mamá, ay, tu hija está bien chaparrita, ¿verdad? Yo digo, ok. So what? Bueno, bajito, bajita, chaparrito, chaparrita. And then we learn the oscura, clara, oscuro, claro. And I think ancho, estrecho, ¿no? Ancho, wide, estrecho. Estrecho could also be angosto. Angosto, narrow, angosto. Estrecho o angosto, you can use either or. Angosto, como agosto, pero con N. Angosto, what a horrible letter. It's just because I have to see myself writing. I try to write everything before, but I always run into issues like that. So, anyway, this is it for today. La cueva de la peligrosa. I hope you enjoyed my lesson. You learned a lot of vocabulary because listen to this. Vocabulary is your best friend when you're learning a language. Sí, el vocabulario es tu mejor amigo. Sometimes we don't know the exact structure, like the grammar structure to say something. A veces no la sabemos bien, ¿sí? No sabemos cómo decirlo con precisión, correctamente. But if we have the words, it's easy. If you have the words, the structure will come and then you'll be able to do it. Whereas if you don't have vocabulary, but you know, oh, it's subject, verb, complement, it's like, what does it say if I know sujeto, verbo, complemento? I know the order. I just don't know what to put in that order. So, El vocabulario es mi mejor amigo, ¿sí? Las palabras son mis mejores amigas. The words are my best friends. Son mis mejores amigas. Like the really best friends, because sometimes I won't get my traumas here. But anyway, las palabras son importantes. And to identify what is a thing and what is its quality and how the thing, whether it's singular or plural, will affect its quality, it's important too. So, learn these words, memorize them, and use them. Muchas gracias por ver mi video. Thank you for watching my video. I am so privileged that you're watching my video because there are so many videos. So the fact that you're learning with my video, it's actually, it gives me like a glow. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias por ver mi video. Continúa aprendiendo palabras and don't forget to keep watching my videos about this series of very important words or words we use daily in Spanish. Muchas gracias. Nos vemos pronto. Oh, before I go, right, sorry. Senderismo and sendero. Senderismo is called to the hiking, senderismo. Sendero is like a path. Sendero is like a, let's say in nature they call it a path. Hay dos senderos. In the hiking trail hay dos senderos, ¿sí? En el Parque Nacional hay dos senderos. There are two paths. Uno corto, uno largo, ¿sí? Sendero. Sendero, senderismo. Yeah, I almost forgot to say that. Sometimes I write things on the board and then when I'm editing my videos, I'm like, oh, I didn't talk about that word. That's because I'm looking at you and not on my board. Bueno, muchas gracias. Ya me voy. Don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter at butterflyspanish.com. If you like my lessons, don't forget to donate to my channel. Your donations actually keep my channel alive. So thank you, and I will make more lessons with your donations. So thank you, and muchas gracias. Nos vemos pronto. And for those of you who have told me that my blouse has cockroaches embroidered, they are ants, okay? Ants, hormigas. And by the way, hormigas, don't kill ants. No mates las hormigas, eh? Hormigas, ants, hormigas. Because some people have told me, oh, you got cockroaches in your shirt. Tienes cucarachas en tu blusa. Y así de, no son cucarachas, son hormigas. Hormigas, no sabes de la naturaleza. Hormigas. And so, don't kill them because so many people kill them. Back in the day when I was a little girl and my family had a shop and they used to sell ant poison. And I don't know. I refuse to sell it because ant poison, I don't know. It's really bad and I really like ants. In fact, I have a very good story about ants. Back in the day when I was back in the day, one of my nieces, Dani, that you will meet, she always tells me, why, Anne, you always say back in the day, as if everything were better when you were like young. I'm like, it's not really like that. It's just, I communicate like that. Anyway, so Dani's house had some ants, on the counters. There were ants in the counters. And my sister, one of my sisters, because I have many sisters, tengo muchas hermanas, llegó y dijo, voy a traer veneno para las hormigas. Like, I'm going to bring poison for the ants, right? And then my niece, being very young, said, and who told you we want to kill them? Y digo, ¿quién te dijo que las queremos matar? Y mi hermana dijo, sí es cierto. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Tienes razón. I'm just not gonna mind other people. I'm not gonna get into other people's business. So now don't kill the ants. Bueno, ya me voy. Ahora sí, ya me voy. Adiós.